My dear students, hope you all are fine at home. Today, I am your principal ma'am. Till the lockdown gets over, I am going to assign the online English classes for you. So, this is the first page of your book, which says English Kumarbharati Standard 10, published by Maharashtra State Bureau of Textbooks, Production and Curriculum Research Center, Pune. Next, this year, you will be having totally 4 units. In the 4 units, you will be having approximately 6 lessons. So these are the 4 units. So today we will look into the first poem, that is Where the Mind is Without Fear. Let's begin with it. 1.1, Unit 1, Where the Mind is Without Fear. There is a lot of warming up exercises which tells you that what does exactly certain words mean when we use them: humanism, patriotism, internationalism, liberalism, environmentalism. What do you mean by humanism? Humanism is basically the E section, that is a rationalistic outlook towards humans rather than a divine or supernatural one. That means you are completely using your logical thinking towards humanity. You actually feel what the human are doing in day-to-day life and what is that importance. Next is patriotism. Patriotism is basically your support, your feeling and your rights and duties towards your country. Third is internationalism. Internationalism is basically a state or a process of being international. Means you would always prefer the international things which are away from your country. Fourth is liberalism. Liberalism goes with holding liberal views. Means you are quite open-minded. You keep on thinking globally. Environmentalism means you are too much concerned or you are too much possessive about protection of the environment. Second point of your warming up goes with, that is, there are different types of poem. Those are almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. These are 9 types of poem. The 9 types of poem are basically listed in one sentence, which I will give you in the form of assignments. Let's move on to the poem which says Where the Mind is Without the Fear. Now this poem is written by the famous poet, Indian poet, that is Mr. Rabindranath Tagore. He was born in 1861 and he left for the abroad, that is he died in 1941. He was a great Indian author. He wrote Gitanjali, which was with beautiful, fresh and sensitive feelings or social feelings towards the literature. This poem is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. It was originally composed in Bengali and later he himself translated it into English. This poem is from his Nobel Prize winning anthology Gitanjali. Please find out the meaning of anthology. Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by the British. In this poem, besides political freedom from British, Tagore also appeals to the God for social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. Let us read the poem once. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depth of truth, where the tireless striving stretches into arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom My Father, Let My Country Awake by Rabindranath Tagore. Now, this total poem is basically about how India or Indians should start thinking after freedom. These bold marked words have been very clearly given the meanings below. So you need to check these meanings below. Now if I want to summarize the poem for you, it says that the minds of Indian people will be free and it will be held very high only when the knowledge is filled into their brains, hearts and minds. He's saying, when will this knowledge be free? When all the people are away from the domestic walls. The narrow domestic walls means that we are away from casteism, we are away from religion, we are away from the color creed, and we basically distinguish between the poor and rich. So when we are out of these all small fragments, that time our minds will be without fear. Next, it says that there are some words which come from the depth of truth. That is, from the truth, exactly from the truth. When things come out, there are people who are tirelessly striving. Means they are struggling continuously very hard. They are putting in efforts for what? To achieve a goal towards perfection. For simple example, students, now this year you will also be struggling a lot, putting in a lot of efforts to move towards perfection. For you, perfection would be scoring a good amount of marks in your SSC examination. Next, they say that where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into. Now they are saying that dead habit basically means old traditional rituals and customs that are harmful, that we should not be lost into the desert of our old traditions, our old rituals, which will pull us back instead of putting us forward. If these rituals we keep on following, we will lost our way into this particular desert, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. Now he is trying to tell us that we should lead our mind forward where we widen or where we broaden our thinking and we really act into it. Now today if you see, we are too much broad-minded. We have started thinking too ahead that girls' education should be there, widow remarriages are done, there is no distinction rich and poor, there is no casteism. So all these thoughts, when they become wide, we start thinking good and our actions become automatically good. And if all these things are summarized, finally what will happen? Heaven of freedom. Heaven of freedom means what? We will be out with a condition with total freedom of thoughts, good words and good deeds, which will finally pull us into a great country wherein Rabindranath Tagore is praying to the God that if all these things come out, people come out of all these narrow domestic walls, they come out of the dead habit, they come out of the old thinking, they come out of the desert. Finally, if they widen up or broaden up their thoughts, we will finally reach the heaven of freedom. That with this, we will have a free India, we will have free minds, and very soon we will be very possibly a very developed nation. So this is basically the summary of the poem, my dear students. Here are the meanings of the words, which I will again write it again and give it to you as a printed format. This is what the poem says. Later in my next video, I will give in to you some assignments, some sessions wherein you will have to answer the particular question.